Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello and welcome to Binary Brothers Podcast. I am your host, Clay, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan.
Hey, that's me. I'm always here. You guys like it.
And I like it too, because I don't like doing these things alone.
Doing the show alone wouldn't be any fun.
No, you just basically hear me talking to myself, and nobody really wants that.
I mean, you'd be basically everyone would envision you sitting at a table that has one lamp, a microphone, and you're wearing like a black turtleneck or something.
That's not very far off the truth to begin.
And it's I did not know.
Just throwing that out there.
All right, well, fans out there, just now you know Clay's podcast recording attire.
I mean, it's like I'm basically Archer. That's what I see myself as. But instead of, doing CIA stuff, I'm recording podcasts.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's see him record a good podcast.
Yeah, I have yet to see that.
Not a single episode is
Nope.
that a podcast.
Nope. But, yeah, so we have a great show. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrency, something that's been pretty big in the last couple of months, even though it's been around for a long while. So I figure we should probably just try and tackle it while it's hot.
Yeah. Might as well jump in there. I mean, it's like you said, it's been hot for, in the recent weeks, months, and whatnot. It's a really interesting topic. I mean, it's something that people haven't really been aware of for the longest time, and then suddenly it's any person you talk to is like, yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin now.
It's basically the bee's knees now.
Insect ligaments.
I believe that's what the kids are calling it.
Oh, well, yeah. That's, of course, the kids.
Bitcoin is straight lit is another phrase I hear all the time.
You're using it the right way.
Yep.
You're
pretty sure.
doing things.
Pretty sure. Well, but before we get into it, let's talk about some things that are on our mind, like say music. What's something that's really got you jamming?
So recently, I've really been into a song by a band called Nothing But Thieves.
Nothing But Thieves.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard of them, have
It's
you?
a quality band name. I haven't heard of them, but I'm liking the name so far.
Yeah, so they're an alt-rock band that came up on one of the radio stations I was listening to.
Ooh.
And I don't know when their first album came out. The first album looks like it came out in 2015.
Okay, so fairly new band.
Yeah, pretty new, and they had a song called Trip Switch, and I really, really liked that song.
All right.
So and then they came out with another album more recently in 2017, which is last year now.
Oh my god.
We're almost done with January, man.
Time flies so fast.
It's just going.
Especially when you're having fun.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so they had a new album came out last year, and another song of theirs has been on my radar, and just I've been listening to a lot recently. It's called Amsterdam.
Ooh, that's like a town name.
It is the name of a town.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's from their new album, Broken Machine, and
another good name.
I know, right?
I'm liking these names right now.
These guys, the first time I heard them, the song, caught my ear, but I looked at the title and the name of their band, and I'm just like, this seems like something interesting I could get into.
So have you heard you've heard this song Amsterdam?
Yeah.
Does it sound like it was recorded on a Broken Machine?
It does not. It sounds like it was recorded on thousands and thousands of dollars worth of machines, and likely mixed on thousands more dollars and distributed with many more dollars.
So you're saying they're lying to us?
So here's the deal, man, is I like them, so I don't want you to think that they're liars.
I don't. I'm just throwing out false accusations, really. That's all I'm doing. It's nothing big or crazy,
I mean, I guess.
I'm just spreading rumors.
There's
no harm in that.
Say whatever you want now.
I am. And I did.
Nothing's gonna stop you, huh?
Nope. I'm already down this path.
There's
Halfway
nothing,
down the waterfall.
There's nothing we can do about it. You're gone. That's it.
Yep.
Is there going to be any changing of your mind?
No turning back.
What if I told you that their album covers are pretty cool?
Look, I've already decided I'm going to take a listen to it. You don't have to add more fuel to this fire.
All right. So that's my suggestion. That's what I've been into recently. I like a lot of their music. Amsterdam, great song off their new album. I actually listened, speaking of music, I listened to Tool.
Oh, you did?
10,000 Days, yeah. I listened to that whole thing.
The whole
Fantastic.
thing. I know, it's crazy. It's nuts.
So yeah.
Especially when you re-listen to it and catch all the things you did miss. It's crazy how much stuff there is in those songs.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to it again some other time. So all you listeners out there, our faithful fans, take Clay's suggestion.
Fans.
Listen to 10,000 Days.
But also take Ryan's suggestion because this Broken Machine stuff sounds very good.
Oh, it is. What about you, man? What music has been flowing through your headphones or speakers these days?
You know, I've been kind of going back to a band that is, I think, very underrated. Now they haven't put out a whole lot of recent stuff, but a very underrated Canadian band called Metric.
Oh, Canadania, huh?
Yeah, Canada.
So what's Metric like?
It's in kind of an alternative pop indie rock kind of band, is I think I would describe it. It's got a female vocal front woman.
Okay.
And it's just very, very catchy songs. One of their songs was covered in the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, so you might recognize it from that. But otherwise, just very, very good music. Favorite album of theirs, I would say, is Fantasies.
Okay.
Just top to bottom, just really good songs. It's nothing like Tool. It's very, very much the opposite of that. They're songs that are just catchy and just really well done.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would highly suggest listening to them if you haven't already. Like I said, very underrated Canadian band. They're well known. It's just for some reason they're very underrated.
So do they get like a lot of mainstream play then? I mean, at least maybe in Canada.
I haven't been to Canada a whole lot, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't.
But like I said, they haven't had a whole lot of recent stuff. I think their newest music is probably from at least 3-4 years ago, probably.
2015.
Yeah.
Found them. I just added Fantasies to my library right now.
You're gonna love that album.
I guarantee it.
I'm guaranteeing that.
You know they fired that guy, right? As like the spokesperson for Men's Warehouse.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like it's the whole thing. He's like, you're gonna love the way you look. I guarantee it.
That was their ad campaign for 20 years.
Yeah, no more. None of that. I don't know why, but
honestly, I thought he was like the owner of them.
I think so, but I think like maybe you got the owner, but then you got the board.
Is this very similar to the whole like Papa John thing?
What happened with Papa John?
So the guy in the Papa John's commercial was like the founder of Papa John, but he stepped down or something because of all his negativity with the NFL and everything.
Oh, so
I don't think he's not the CEO anymore. But he's still gonna get paid and he'll be fine.
From what I'm seeing here, this article, Men's Warehouse founder gets canned.
So he is the founder.
Yeah, no longer able to guarantee you'll like the way you look. Oh, well, that's lame.
Wow. To be fair, the only time I really ever went into Men's Warehouse was to pick up my tuxes for weddings.
Yep. Even when they gave me, like, they gave you like 50% off of like your next rental or like $200 off a suit or something. I just never ended up going back in there. I just don't need suits that often.
Right. Even when I'm going to an event that recommends a suit, I still don't wear a suit.
It's like, hey, you know what,
Look,
guys, you invited me to the event.
I'm just going to be comfortable here, all right?
You know who I am. This is me. Accept me.
Yeah.
Either way, so metric.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much on my mind right now.
That's your recommendation?
Yep. For sure.
I like it. I'm looking forward to it.
Is that all that you're looking forward to, though?
It's not.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, it is definitely not the only thing I'm looking forward to. One, because I just recently learned about them. And two, because tryouts are soon.
Tryouts for what?
Tryouts. So, for our listeners who don't know, I play semi-professional football for the Racine Raiders.
Not only did you play or do you play semi-professional, you are a national champion in semi-professional football.
I am. Yep. That happened. It was a very good year for us. We went undefeated. National tournament. I got myself a big dumb ring.
Basically ready to take on Alabama.
Just ready to take on Alabama any day now.
Yep.
So yeah, we recently had our end of the year banquet, even though our season ended, a few months back. We play like over the summer.
Right.
So
I mean, you can't, you don't want to take away showtime from the NFL,
Oh yeah.
No.
So yeah,
Execs don't like that.
We had our banquet, and they announced the date for the first tryout, and that's February 17th, I believe. So I'm excited now. I'm excited because this is the start again of everything.
Now, do you have to try out, or is your spot kind of guaranteed?
I do have to try out.
Okay, so everyone has to try out, basically.
Yeah, like everyone has to try out. I mean, the obviously the guys that have been there, have a better chance of making it because they know the people. But I mean, every single year that I've been playing for 4 years now. Every year that I played, new people come in, new people try out, and new people make it on the team or on the practice squad. And so it's not just like a stick with who club type
right
thing. So I mean, we're there. I'm one of the captains, so like I think either way I would be there to help with tryouts, but I do have to try out. I do have to show that I'm not, a giant pile at this point.
You're not like me.
Yeah, dude, you gotta pick it up.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm getting so old,
It's just, does everything just hurt?
Literally everything just hurts. I just got back from snowboarding out west.
Yeah.
And snowboarding for 4 straight days.
How was that? How'd that treat you?
My body?
Your body, your soul, I don't know. Either way.
To be honest, though, my body actually feels pretty darn good. After the second day, I was really feeling it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of caught a second wind a little bit,
Yeah. That's good on your second day out of 4. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Although the third day was the most tiring. That was the most exhausted I've ever been.
Just in your life?
No, not in my life, but in a while.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because up in the mountains, because of the altitude, there's not a whole lot of oxygen. So basically, just getting off the chairlift and strapping up, strapping into my board, I'm just huffing and puffing. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. Like I've always, everyone says that's just, it's a scientific fact, and I huff and puff at this level. I don't know what I'd do on the top of a mountain.
Yeah, and then some of the runs are a good. I mean, there's a run that's almost 4 miles long. So, I mean, you're just going. We basically have to stop every once in a while just to kind of give our body, give our legs a rest.
Just to gather yourself. Yeah.
But yeah, but there was this point on the third day that I followed a couple of friends I went with, and we went into these trees, and the trees had a bunch, basically the whole run through the trees was a bunch of moguls.
Okay.
And moguls are not very good for snowboarders to go through. They're not very natural to go through. It's very tiring to go through them, to constantly switch, whether you're going, toe side turning to heel side turning. It's like you have to shift your body the complete opposite way every 3 seconds.
Right.
It's just very tiring, and the entire run was that through trees and just snow push piles and everything. When I got done with that run, we basically all had to just lie on the ground.
Just be done.
Yeah, I was ready to be done after that. But yeah.
But I mean, hey, I saw some pictures. Looked fantastic out there.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. That was my first time out there. It's been a bucket list item for me, probably for a good, 10 years or so, for as long as I'd been riding. And I've always wanted to go out to actual mountains because there's none around here.
Right.
All right. And the views are just absolutely incredible. It's unreal, especially when the sun kind of started to set a little bit at the end of the day there. It just looked like a Bob Ross painting. It was unreal. Like, I am literally looking at a painting from the top of this mountain right now.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. I just had to soak it all in. It was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And it's crazy that I can't imagine the people who actually live there probably take that view for granted.
Yeah, like you get to see it every day, so you're just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, like
it's freaking incredible, dude.
Like people came. I remember in college there was a guy who was from Texas, and he'd just like never seen snow before.
Yeah,
and it snowed, and he's just like in shorts, and he's like, "Let's go outside and play in the snow." And I'm like, dude, it's just gonna do this for the next few months. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's just like one of those things, right? Where you see it every day. And it's like, yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I would personally love to go and see it. I mean, not necessarily go boarding because I don't have a board and I'm not experienced enough to be in a mountain.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they have beginner areas even up high on the mountain.
So yeah, but I mean, that's a trip I'd definitely love to take.
Yeah, just the ride from Denver out to the resorts out in the mountains, just the scenery driving through the mountains there was pretty cool. But thankfully we had some really, really good days for traveling. We had sunny days for both driving out there and driving back, so we didn't have to deal with snowstorms and driving through that in the mountain.
Yeah,
the windy roads of the mountain.
That would be rough.
Yeah, so
I'm having a hard enough time.
Yeah,
just being here.
We did get actually a good snowfall while we were there. It was like the second night we were there, so we actually got to ride through some fresh snow, which was pretty cool too. Just pretty much, honestly, it was pretty much a perfect trip. It was everything I could have imagined for it.
That's awesome.
But now that's done. And it's been a couple weekends now that I've had things going on. So I'm actually pretty excited right now to have some time where I can just kind of chill and not worry about going anywhere.
Some downtime?
Yeah. So that's really what I'm looking forward to right now. Is just kind of winding down and just relaxing.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, we all do stuff like all the time, but like I know there's been times when it's just like months. I mean, especially during like football season, where it's just like every single weekend and every single Wednesday is football stuff. So
yeah,
it's nice to get some downtime after the season is done, or get a few weekends in there, hang out, go some places.
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely important. to relax and reboot a little bit.
For sure. Well, I think that's it for our 20-minute warm-up here.
Well, do you think the fans are warmed up? Do you think they're ready to go?
They better be.
I know I am. I'm ready to dive into this one.
Let's dive into it. We're going to be talking about cryptocurrencies.
Oh man, what is that? What does it even mean?
Blockchains and stuff.
Blockchain. Synergy.
Yeah, promoting synergy.
The blockchain synergy is what's going to propel your business into the forefront
Of your industry.
Correct.
Decentralization of things and stuff. Numbers everywhere. Wallets that are not in your pockets. It's crazy.
Not physical wallets?
Well,
They're not? Well,
that's a good question, because if you have like an external hard drive or a thumb drive that the only thing on it is your crypto wallet for whatever cryptocurrency you have, is that then considered a physical wallet?
I mean, it's physically stored. It's all physically stored.
If that's the only thing that's on that?
Technically, yes, I think you could say that is your legitimate wallet.
Do you think there is a $1 million idea out there of people actually making physical cryptocurrency wallets?
I don't know if it's millions, because, I mean, can't you just buy a flash drive?
No, I mean like $1 million idea.
Is it $1 million?
I don't know. I'm not
idea,
a business
though?
guy.
I'm not technically a business guy
Although
either.
technically I own a business.
You do.
It's weird. It's weird how that works. So with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, the market for them has really just gone up profusely over the last few months, or basically right at the end of 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, like somewhere in November, I think it really...
That's when it really kind of started.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's when people started hearing about it kind of at the Thanksgiving dinner table, right?
Oh, sure.
That's kind of how a lot of, I think, people just kind of heard about it. Now, they don't probably understand it at all, but that's how your sister-in-law found out about it and is now babbling on about it to you, probably.
Yeah, telling you all about
everything
she knows about the Bitcoin.
Right.
Cryptocurrencies. Blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blockchains.
Yes, everywhere. But cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular has been around for quite a while. It was created during the 2008 financial crisis. You know, that time during the right after Obama got into office? That was the first year, right, of his presidency, and then he and Congress ended up bailing out the banks and everything, and that was seen as a lot of people were not a fan of that.
Right.
Right.
I mean, people see handouts and they see them as handouts and they don't like it. So I mean,
well, especially when the handouts go to people who are, the one percenters, right? The people who are already super rich, and it's like, why are they getting bonuses and stuff? Stuff like that. It's
bailing out the people that are the problem.
Right, and people that, in the grand scheme of things, don't or shouldn't need a bailout like that. right? But yeah,
it started then around that time, and I'm sure, for good reasons, because, you wanted to get something else out there that had some sort of value.
Something that wouldn't be tied to the banks, tied to these, to the elite, right? Something that wasn't run by, a corporation or something, right? Something that was decentralized, something that is run by the masses.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a huge appeal of it. And I think that, with this uptick that's been happening now, I think it's been getting a lot more popular, and the more people that are kind of into it and that know about it, the more attractive it seems. You know, people might not understand 100% what's going on or, you know, how it works, but people know, you know, a few things about it. They know for sure that it's valuable in a way, right? Because what did it shot up in value to like $20,000.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it hit 20 or almost, it was right nearly there. It was right at 20.
Yeah.
$1,000 US.
And that's a solid number. That's something to be really excited about if you can manage to get in when it's low. It really could pay off.
Yeah, I mean, if you got in early, you know, even right at the start of 2017 when it was not even $1,000 per Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it hits, you know, 18,000 or so in when is this? Sorry, my cursor is following this graph, and it's just glitching around. There it is, December. So mid-December of this year. So essentially, if you bought in at the beginning of 2017 and just held it for a year, you're up from 800 some dollars per Bitcoin to $18,000 per. I mean, that is huge. That is so huge. Like, if your 401k or anything grew like that, you could retire right now. And essentially, a lot of people basically were able to retire because of the whole Bitcoin rise, if they bought in early enough.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it skyrocketed. But that's also, you know, a really scary thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very volatile thing. These cryptocurrencies are a very high-risk investment. They're basically being treated as stocks right now and not as currencies.
And I don't think that people are respecting or understanding that at times, you know. I mean, it seems like people went nuts, at least some people, and are just dumping ridiculous amounts of money into it.
Yeah, and just like any high risk or really any investment, you don't risk more or don't invest more than you're willing to lose. And that holds especially true with cryptocurrencies. So when you hear all these stories about people getting mortgages and getting loans to invest in Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make that sense to be that crazy about it, you know. Like it's too much to do. It's too much to risk at this point. It's not anything, you know, safe or stable. Like your 401k is a relatively stable thing, you know.
Yeah, it's a low risk investment that should yield the expected market growth over time.
Yeah, and it is super attractive. It's people want to get into this. People want to get rich, and
people love quick rich schemes.
Yeah, and I'll admit myself, like when it started to kind of pick up again, I was like, well, maybe this is a thing. How do you get into this without spending too much money? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm very similar. Like I just started investing in cryptocurrency pretty much late December, so it's kind of near its peak a little bit.
Right.
But I'm invested in a couple different currencies, or kind of make sure you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Right, diversify your investments.
Diversify your bonds.
Yeah. So the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency market's been very up and down ever since. I'm still up a little bit with my investments, but it's not, it's not like I invested in early 2017 and I'm reaping all these rewards here. But I'm not freaking out. I'm not selling off all my stuff when the markets dip, and when we say dip, if it was like, our big markets, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, those kind of markets,
Yeah.
If the similar dip in terms of percentage happened in those, we would be in a Great Depression.
Right.
So when we say dips, let's put that in perspective. They're huge dips, but
people would be absolutely losing it.
yep. And some people are, because they've taken out mortgages and loans, right?
They did too much.
Right. So, but I'm not panic selling or anything because of these dips. I bought into the whole cryptocurrency thing because I was kind of interested in its future, and I thought, and very interested in kind of just the long run of it. So, how do these currencies really have their place in the future? And I'm interested to be a part of it, and let's be honest, cryptocurrencies are very much in their infancy.
Yeah, I mean they've been around for a good amount of time, but they're just now really picking up. They're just now being respected as currencies, and the world's kind of reacting. We have to figure out what we're doing with it, and it's so early in the figure out what we're doing with it stage that it could go anywhere. We could completely, not completely, but it could just be a passing thought, one day.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe the whole blockchain technology that's behind all these currencies, maybe there's a different technology that comes out in 5-10 years here that blows that out of the water, and then all of a sudden all these cryptocurrencies are essentially useless. And that's why we say don't invest more than you're willing to lose. Like everything I've invested, if it all just goes away, it sucks, but I can perfectly live. It's not affecting payment, bill payments or anything like that. I can live losing that money. It's essentially like taking a vacation, except I just didn't go anywhere, right? I'm essentially investing in a staycation right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with that.
After all the busy weekends you've had recently,
I'm
you deserve
completely fine with that.
Yeah, like you said, it's not something you want to just dump a crazy amount of money into, but it's definitely worth, like you said, reasonably getting into if you're interested, just to see, where it goes. I mean, it's always cool to be part of something kind of new, and as long as you know the risks as you're going in, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of be a part of it, because there's a lot of things that our generation has kind of missed out on, or will miss out on, in terms of things that are kind of really cool in the history of the world. So we were way too late for the whole exploration of North America, right?
Way late.
Yeah, right?
We missed it by a long shot.
A long shot. Like, just imagine, I can't imagine going to, the mountains out west like I did and seeing no civilization out there and just be an explorer in an untracked territory. There's video games. They make video games for things like that.
Right. That's because it's such a foreign concept to our generation.
And then on the flip side, our generation's never going to be the ones that be space traveling, right?
Right.
The other cool genre of video games,
which again is like another exploration. Like, we missed out on this planet's exploration, and we're gonna miss out on the exploration of the vast majority of space.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing that we are a part of right now that's happening in our lifetime is just this huge technological growth. It's happened for the last 50 years in terms of kind of the computer age.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's been more than 50 years, but that's kind of when the growth really kind of took off, right? And it's continuing to take off, and we're kind of in that whole period right now where it's interesting to see all these new technologies come and see where they go, and to be a part of it is very compelling.
Yeah, and like you said, everything is advancing, really quickly in our age. People are constantly trying to innovate, and that could be very good for cryptocurrencies, and at least the existing. I think in general, cryptocurrencies aren't going to go right. I think the more likely thing is what you said, where they advance in some way where the current ones are potentially, not as valuable anymore or not as attractive.
Right, and that's why, even though Bitcoin is the most popular coin out there, there's so many other alternate cryptocurrency coins that have popped up because of shortfalls in the technology behind Bitcoin. The fact that it takes so long for a transaction to take place in Bitcoin has prompted so many other coins to be created.
And that's all it takes, and that's the thing about it not being like super regulated and being a decentralized thing, is that you're going to end up with a whole mess of different cryptocurrencies out there. And not that's like a bad thing, but I don't know.
You have to be careful for sure, because there's a lot of these currencies that the big thing with cryptocurrencies, much like any new thing, is not only does the technology have to be sound, but for it to really grow in popularity, like Bitcoin did, it needs to basically have the marketing behind it. It needs to have the buzzwords. It needs to have that presence to really get people hooked on it. As much as we might not like that, that's the reality of it.
Why you got to get people in front of it in order for it to be popular, and that's the truth with pretty much anything that you have these days. It's not going to make it if you can't market it.
Why are Beats headphones so popular?
Because of Dr. Dre.
Because of Dr. Dre. It's not because they're the best sounding headphones.
Because they are not by a long shot. That's a whole...
I know, it's a whole nother thing. I'm just saying, it had a very good marketing presence and a big name attached to it, and people gobbled that up. And that's very similar to these cryptocurrencies. So when you hear a lot of buzz for certain newer coins out there, you got to be a little bit skeptical. Look into the technologies behind these coins before you invest. If you do decide to invest, there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that are going to explain these technologies much better than we're going to be able to in a podcast format.
Yeah, and we totally encourage you. We should link to some in places, maybe find a couple, but people should go out there and find videos to explain what's going on. And like you said, do your research, because the things that make these things valuable, they have things in common that make them valuable, but their individual technologies, the slight differences are the things that are going to make the difference in the long run of which ones last and which ones don't.
Right, and you don't have to understand everything that, all the technology. You don't have to understand how these algorithms, how these mathematical computations all work to create, everything that's behind blockchain and these coins. But you just got to understand kind of, the reasoning for these types of things. And that's something that you can find out there. And something that you should do before you invest in any coin.
Right. And the other side of just purely investing in it, is to actually be involved in that technology side of it, right? You could be a Bitcoin miner. That's the other thing you could do. But
although not really recommended at this point.
Definitely not recommended, because the barrier to entry is so high. I mean,
it's not really worth it.
Yeah, looking into it, right? You end up buying a rig that is going to cost you probably a smooth $1,000 at least. And that's like your basic thing. I think Kodak even at CES like announced some Bitcoin miner thing you could buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just either way, just people jumping onto the band in that way. But you could get into it on that side, and it's not cheap at all. It used to be that you could just run anything. You could do these calculations and do your part in all this.
Because there were so many Bitcoins, still out there.
Right. There's, like you said, there's a finite number of them.
Yep.
So the less there are,
the harder they are to find or mine. Right. And
it's actually, I read an article the other day. There's like a GPU shortage.
Oh yeah. Nvidia is blaming it on the whole mining thing.
Yeah, and I think they sent out, it was them or someone else. They sent out like a memo to companies, to their resellers, to say don't sell these to people that are using them for mining, which is hilarious because
oh no, I'm not buying these for mining, or I'm just buying them for gaming.
I just need 10 of these GTX 1080s for Minecraft. I need it for Minecraft.
Yeah.
So at this point it's driving up, and that's a way that people who don't care about cryptocurrencies or anything are kind of being affected by this type of thing. Or like and some people might not even realize it. Your GPU might double in price because of scarcity, or because it's just generally valuable for this type of thing.
Right. It's like economics, really. The whole thing is economics, which is very interesting, just in how the future is going to be with just how much technology is shaping our lives, and how the economy seems to not be reacting fast enough for it. It seems like it's going to catch up, and it's going to be interesting how all this stuff, cryptocurrencies, just technology in general, and jobs, and just how everything is going to all fall into place in the future. It's a little bit scary,
but it's also very exciting.
That's true. And that's the big thing when you look at explorers or anything that's new. Anything that you encounter, anything that you're a part of that's brand new in human history, it's always going to be scary to some degree. But
it could definitely be worth it.
Yeah, it definitely could.
You got to get out there. I mean, I'm sure that our listeners might have stumbled upon our podcast and thought, what is this new and scary thing? Hopefully they didn't think it was scary.
This could completely waste an hour of my life, or it could not.
And I think at least I hope the people are satisfied so far. And I hope that cryptocurrencies, they're going to have to be regulated in some way, and they're going to stabilize, and ones are going to come out ahead of others. But I mean, I'm always for pushing technology forward, or like doing the new thing in that way. I mean, someone's got to be the explorer. Someone's got to be the person that goes out there and, we try this crazy crypto stuff out for a while and see how it works out.
Mm-hmm. Disruption, innovation, buzzwords.
Buzzwords.
I was watching
Shark Tank.
Oh yeah.
the other day, and someone went on there and kept calling themselves disruptors
Oh yeah.
of the industry. And I forgot who it was, but they stopped and they're like, here's the deal. You don't call yourself a disruptor. Other people tell you that you're disrupting. And it's just not how it works. But yeah, it's just one of the buzzwords.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where people will just... I just saw a meme about it today on Reddit where it was in Programmer Humor. And
fantastic subreddit.
It was a tweet from I'm Developer, and he said, how to get funding. Keep saying blockchain really fast until people in suits get confused and throw you money. So, I mean, that's honestly, that's the truth of it. That's the truth of a lot of things. I mean,
yeah,
it's easy in some ways to kind of throw stuff out there that people don't fully understand and, get them to give you money for it and whatnot. And, hopefully people aren't really being, taken advantage of these things. And that's why we encourage you to go out and, do your research before you really get into things, because you don't want to get taken advantage of in some way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna turn out fun.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? So I just found out from a coworker the other day that blockchain patents, a good chunk of those are owned by Bank of America.
No way.
Yeah. But I don't really know what that means. I don't know what patents mean in terms of all this. Like, what can they do with it? For me, in my opinion, patents in technology, especially algorithms, are idiotic.
Yeah, that's
like they do more harm than good, I guess, is what I'm saying. Not necessarily idiotic. They don't benefit society the way that patents were thought of doing.
Yeah, and I don't know. Patents. Who do patents really? Who do they protect mostly? Anyways, I mean, right? It's the creator.
The creators, the people who spent a lot of time on developing or creating something.
I mean,
so that China can't rip off Clash of Clans and create a brand new game that looks exactly like it, and the app market on phones is a completely another podcast episode.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree. There's definitely been times when patents in general have just been garbage, for making things like more difficult. Like there was someone who argued a patent about slide to unlock or swipe to unlock in a certain way, right? And it's just like, come on.
Like UX features in general.
The dumbest.
Was it Apple that...
It was Apple. I just didn't want to say it.
No, but they sued they sued for something else. Didn't they do it for like having like rounded corners or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Like design
stupid stuff like that.
Here's the deal, manufacturers, everyone who makes a phone now. It's more about, and we talked about this, it's more about the actual features.
Don't take away my headphone jack.
No, it's fine. You'll be okay.
I do have an update on that. I think I'm gonna wait for the Pixel 3.
Okay.
So that's an update from our first ever episode. So all you longtime listeners, congratulations for finally sticking it through and finding out the real answer to my issues.
Continuity. It finally paid off.
Oh man, playing the long game.
The long con. But yeah, I mean, like, phone, to sue someone about the design of their phone at this point would be ridiculous, because what rectangle are you using? They're all like so similar now at this point, and
your device plays 4K videos. Well, we patented that.
It's like
patented a specific resolution.
right?
Uh,
120
it's
hertz
annoying.
displays.
And
That's a new thing.
Oh my god! But yeah, and the worst part is you have these what they call patent trolls that just basically ruin it for everyone.
Yeah, like just buy up patents on stuff, like the most obscure things.
Yeah, just in hopes. It's essentially like investing in cryptocurrencies, right? You're buying it in hopes that it's gonna pay off in the long run.
Right, but at least when you buy into cryptocurrencies, you're not a complete tool bag.
Hopefully. There are some people who are buying into cryptocurrencies that I would probably consider somewhat of
But you're not
a person I don't like.
Yeah, but they're buying in to make money in, like, I don't know. It's like buying stocks. Like, no one's gonna be mad at you for buying stocks, but I'm sure as hell gonna be mad at you if you buy a patent.
It's not preventing other people from innovating.
Right. It's not trying to make a killing off of, someone who's gonna try and use the small technique that you decided you should own and charge out the wazoo for.
Right. Or you didn't even create, you just bought up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so who really knows what's gonna happen with cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin? Bitcoin, like we mentioned, one of the downfalls of that cryptocurrency is that it just takes so long for a transaction to take place. Literally everyone who has a Bitcoin wallet basically has to legitimatize a transfer or a transaction. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it just takes forever because everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah,
everyone has to have matching, wallets or
like all their ledgers need to be the same.
Right.
So
that's one of the big things. So you see all these other currencies that pop up that have different kind of algorithms or technologies to try and remedy that. The thing with Bitcoin is it's got that whole basically first to market type of advantage and name advantage. So it's kind of why it's so big and everyone knows about it, even though it doesn't really have the best technology behind it.
And
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think at some point the market in general they're going to catch on to different currencies that are better in some ways, and I think the ones that have the most solid technology and end up being the most convenient, because I don't think you can survive. I mean, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going away, but I'm just saying transactions that take that long.
Well, when they do take that long, it doesn't make sense in terms of being a currency, right?
Right.
That's why so many companies have struggled adopting it, even though they have. Like Microsoft has adopted it as a method of payment, or they did. I think they put a hold on it. Steam did for a little bit. I think they've declined now, though. But and then Stripe, I think
Stripe was going to. I think they were going to, or they did, but then they just recently, because I saw that the other day, our company uses Stripe for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article the other day that said they're out. They're like, no, we're out of it.
It's very hard when transactions take 10 hours or so to complete.
Yeah.
Especially like, just for example, you're out buying an ice cream cone with the Bitcoins, or you're buying it with very fractions of
with a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Very small.
That's some pretty damn good ice cream.
It's that oh man, that fancy Dijon ice cream. So I don't know what's going to happen with all of it. There's so many other coins. What coins are going to eventually kind of become the default? It's really just a guessing game right now, and a lot of people are in a lot of different courts. A lot of people have their own favorite alternate cryptocurrency coin. But it really, like I said, it all is going to depend on which one gets accepted by the masses, really. That'll be the one that essentially wins the whole battle, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it can only be sound technology and something that's can be used as a currency, but it also has to have the buzz around it.
Yeah. And someone's gonna. I mean, Bitcoin has it now, but that could shift. That could change. I mean, public opinion changes all the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens in general. I mean, every time there's something like this, it opens up the world just in general to try and think and try and innovate, you know, and that's always good for the consumer in general. That's good for us.
Agreed. It's yeah, I think the thing that's really going to be necessary for the next, you know, the near future growth and eventually the long-term growth of these coins is people just need to understand it. And so for any one of our glorious listeners who are tuning in, just all we can say is make sure you do your research.
Yeah, get in there. I mean, don't go overboard, but don't be afraid.
Right.
You know what you're doing. I mean, I myself am one of those people that researches things like crazy before I buy them.
Yep.
And
don't invest more than you're willing to lose. It's simple like that. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you probably shouldn't be investing in
probably not a good idea. Get some savings going.
Get some other things going for you so that you're eventually in a position to invest.
Right.
Even if you're very excited about it, just remember we're still very, very much in the infancy of cryptocurrencies. There's a long road ahead. And so if you're not getting in now, even though it seems, you know, because of the recent price jumps or recent, you know, valuation of these coins have gone up so significantly as of late, it doesn't mean that it's not going to continue. But
right.
it also, you know, doesn't mean that it's going to stay this high. If you get in right now and it's, you know, say, you know, whatever it is right now, what Bitcoin's at, and we're using Bitcoin just as an example for all these prices and stuff like that, just because it's the most
it's
known,
the hot one right now.
Yep. So Bitcoin's at, you know, 11,000 essentially.
Yeah.
It was almost up to 20,000. Waiting, you know, getting your other financial things in order and waiting, perhaps Bitcoin drops all the way down to maybe its final kind of stable position, and maybe that's around, let's say that's around like, you know, 5,000. Just
right.
For example, we obviously don't know what's going to happen with the market. Nobody does. Anybody who does tell you is full of crap.
Yeah, it's their best guess.
So just because it's grown exponentially recently doesn't mean it's going to keep on growing. That is the hope, but you never know. It definitely could pay off if you don't buy in now and you wait a little bit and wait till it drops to, you know, say 5,000 or whatever, and then you know, if that's say a couple of years from now, and then all of a sudden at that point people are willing to you know, the mass market is willing to accept cryptocurrencies and you buy in at that price, and then it starts kind of just steadily growing from there. We're not dealing with these excessive you know, hikes and dips, right? So it's very much in the infancy. Nobody really knows what's going on. Don't be too concerned about necessarily jumping in, especially if you don't have the means to. You know, be smart about this.
It's definitely a good idea at this point to do your research and see it as just expect to lose the money you're putting in. Like if you're going to put in money now, think to yourself, are you cool with losing whatever you're putting into it? Because that very well could happen at this point. And, like Clay's saying, not a good idea to do if you're not in a position to just throw away money potentially.
Mm-hmm. So I think that is going to end our cryptocurrency talk for this episode. There is so much we could talk about. There really is. There is so much out there, and really a lot of it is going to be easier to digest and understand outside of a podcast format.
For sure.
We sincerely go look up YouTube videos, go find blog posts about all these things, visit subreddits, but gather up as much information as you can. But take everything, especially when you see hype about certain coins, take it with a grain of salt, a little bit, because there's always going to be people that are super excited about things, and there's going to be people who really rag on coins or whatever. Kind of take both the pros and cons, with a grain of salt, and make your own decisions. I think that's the most we can really recommend to you. But I speak for Ryan. I think I speak for Ryan, I guess, when I say we hope this talk kind of helped enlighten you a little bit. Maybe not too much, but it kind of
just give you some insight into the whole thing, and just
right.
General stuff.
Ryan can definitely talk for himself.
But yeah, I mean, we hope it gave you some sort of insight and heed our advice and in some way. I mean, I don't think at any point we told you to dump all your money into it. So
I think we told you the opposite, really.
The exact opposite. But yeah, I mean, it's new, it's fun, it's exciting. I'm excited. And I hope our fans are too.
And we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Maybe we'll retouch on this in the future.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.